What's up, guys? So you may not know this, but there are lots of different strategies that you can use in the world of property investing. When people ask me why property is my favorite area of investing, I tell them that it's because there are so many different ways to generate money from a property once you purchased it through these strategies. So today we're going to rank some of the main strategies that you can use to build your wealth in property in the UK.
What's up, guys? It's your urban educator Warren Goslin back with another financial wealth building video. If you'd like to show your support for this channel, please do so by hitting the like button and subscribing. That really helps, and recommend this video to somebody else on their wealth building journey. Appreciate the continued love and support from you guys. Peace.
So the strategies that you can use in property can be divided into two main categories. There's those that are going to primarily earn you a return in the form of income, cash flow from rental every month. And then there are those that are going to earn you a return from the rise in the value of the property or the capital appreciation, which you can unlock when you either sell the property or release equity. Today, we're going to focus on the top income strategies. And in the next video, I'm going to follow up with one on the capital appreciation strategy. So tell me in the comment section if you want me to make that video as well, based on what you hear in this one. So first up is serviced accommodation. These are fully furnished properties that are made available for both short and long-term stays. These are very similar to those offered by hotels. So we're talking about Airbnb, Booking.com, and they offer you the same sort of facilities and services like cleaning and parking. But on top of that, you also have facilities in the house such as a kitchen and a washing machine and a dryer, which you don't normally get in a hotel. So if you're a millennial or anyone else, not just a millennial, you've probably gone on a trip and used Airbnb or Booking.com at some point over the last 5-10 years. And of course, when you actually stay in one of these properties, on the other side of that, there's an owner who owns a property and that maintains the property, markets it, and manages the property day to day on these sites, week to week for guests like you. So that's how serviced accommodation works, and that's what it is. So in terms of the numbers, to bring this to life and to show you how much income you can make from serviced accommodation, let's take an example from Brixton in London. Okay, I like Brixton because I used to go to karate there. But the average rent for a 3-bed family home in Brixton is £2,000 a month according to Zoopla. So that's a rent for an average family home there. Now, if you were to stay in a 3-bed serviced accommodation house, so I've looked on Airbnb, the average price is around £193 per night. So if you assume that you own this property and you're able to book it out for, say, 65% of the year, okay, so that's 19.8 days per month, £193 per night, that's going to give you a total of £3,816 per month, compared to £2,000 for a regular family home. That's a big difference. Now, of course, there are going to be costs that you're going to have to pay when you use a property for serviced accommodation rather than a standard buy-to-let family home. They're going to be higher. So you're going to have to pay for things like regular cleaning in between stays. You're going to have to regularly replace the linen, so the bed sheets and the covers in between stays. You don't want someone staying in a bed and then using those same dirty bed sheets for a new guest. So you're going to have to replace those or even rent those, okay? You're going to have to pay for the utilities. So when your guests use the electricity and they use the gas, you'll be paying for that. However, despite that, the overall profit tends to be significantly higher for serviced accommodation than it does for normal buy-to-let. Now, the pros are that you can extract more income from the property when you use it for short-term serviced accommodation than normal buy-to-let. The cons are that managing a serviced accommodation is a lot more time and effort than managing a regular family home buy-to-let. Why is that? Because you're going to need to coordinate all of the cleaning every time a guest leaves the property so that it's clean and spotless before the next guest arrives, okay? You're going to have to coordinate that. You'll need to find a way to manage all the bookings via Airbnb and Booking.com and other booking portals that you might use on top of those. You're going to need to find a way to manage all the guest communication. So while they're there, they might hit you up and say, hey, how does the heating work? How does the dishwasher work? How does the internet work? What's the key? Where are the keys kept, etc. So you're going to need processes and systems for all of these guys because it is a lot of work. So let me know, are any of you watching right now currently involved in serviced accommodation? Let me know in the comment section below what some of your effective and successful processes and systems are that you use to manage your serviced accommodation. accommodation. Next up are HMOs. Now, a HMO is a house of multiple occupation, and it's defined as a property that's rented out by at least 3 people who are not from one household, i.e. the same family, but they share facilities like the bathroom and the kitchen. So housemates, basically, that you're not related to. Now, you might hear these called by other names such as house shares, and people often find these types of houses on websites like Spare Room and Gumtree. An example of a HMO would be you buy a 3-bed family home, and instead of renting out the whole house to one family, say a mum, a dad and their child, you rent it out by the room instead to 3 separate people or 3 housemates, so students for example, or just workers, okay, and they'll become housemates. Now, the key difference between a HMO and a normal buy-to-let from a financial perspective is that with a family home, the couple will sign one tenancy agreement and pay one rent, okay? Now let's stick with the Brixton example and the average prices there. The average rent for a 3-bed family home, as we've already seen, is £2,000. Now, you compare that to using that same 3-bed home for a HMO and renting out by the room instead, under 3 separate tenancy agreements, you'll be able to charge approximately £750 per room. So that's £2,250 in total, according to Spare Room, versus the £2,000 per month. So that's an extra £3,000 per year using the house as a HMO instead of a standard buy-to-let. Worth remembering that with HMOs, you usually pay for the household utilities these days as well as slightly higher repair costs. So those will be deducted from your profits, okay? The pros are that you can, once again, extract more income from a property when you use it as a HMO instead of a buy-to-let. The cons are, again, that managing a HMO is more time and effort, okay, than managing a regular family home. Why is that? Because homes contain separate people, okay, separate housemates, and they tend to have a higher turnover of tenants. So inevitably, you'll have instances where housemates move out. So one might move out, say, with their partner, or a person might move out to another job opportunity in another city, etc. Okay, you'll have to find a new tenant each time this happens, and not just any tenant. It's going to have to be a tenant that fits in harmoniously with the people already living there. That's why it's actually a good idea, if you can, to get your tenants to choose the next housemate, okay? Because it removes a lot of the burden from you and also the chances of making the wrong decision. Also, HMOs tend to incur more wear and tear and therefore more repair costs than the average family home. Now, I know this is true because I myself have lived in a HMO over the years with flatmates, and things broke all the time, which we had to call the landlord about. But I honestly don't know why this was as opposed to a family home, because it seems like when you're in a family home, things don't break as much. So why do you think that is? I'm genuinely quite baffled by that, but let me know in the comment section below. Okay, now for those without the tens of thousands of pounds to pay down a deposit yet, which is a lot of us, you also have the rent-to-rent strategy. Now this involves you approaching landlords and offering them a guaranteed monthly rent on their property, which you then use for either a HMO or serviced accommodation, and you keep basically the difference between what you pay the landlord and what you make. So sticking with the Brixton example, you can approach a homeowner with a 3-bed property. You know the market rent is £2,000, but you might offer the owner slightly less in return for the guarantee that they'll be paid a monthly rent no matter what every month for the next, say, 5 years. So you might offer them, say, £1,800 per month and use a property as a HMO instead of a standard buy-to-let. So you pay the owner £1,800, you receive £2,250 per month. So you keep the difference of £450 per month. So you're controlling a house and profiting from it without actually having to buy it, okay? And of course you have to pay for the utilities that I just mentioned and also the repairs. But that's essentially how rent-to-rent works, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this particular strategy. Is it something that interests you? Does it sound too risky? Let me know. The pros are that you don't need to save for a deposit to buy a house first. You get to control it, as I said, and use it for HMO or serviced accommodation. The cons are that you have to pay the owner every month no matter what. It's a guaranteed rent, okay? So even if the property is unoccupied, it's empty, and you're not earning any money from it, you still have to pay them their money, okay? So let me know about those strategies. Let me know which ones appeal to you, which ones you think you would use, and I'll see you guys next week.